Hello guys, this is 12th Harbinger and welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to cover everything you need to know about Navia, which includes her kit, constellations, weapons, artifacts and team comps. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's start with her kit. Navia relies on crystallized reactions to increase her elemental skill damage. Picking up a crystallized shard with any character gives you a crystallized sharpness stack, which will be consumed when you use her elemental skill. These stacks buff your elemental skill damage. You can get a maximum of 6 stacks. The first 3 stacks buff your elemental skill multiplier, and the other 3 stacks give additional damage buff to the skill. You get 2 charges of her elemental skill. In order to get the sharpness stacks faster, her burst gives 1 stack every 2.4 seconds whenever it hits an enemy. Her burst works just like Ganyu's burst and it lasts for 12 seconds. Her Ascension 1 passive gives a Geo Infusion for 4 seconds after using her elemental skill and further boosts her normal, charged and plunge damage by 40%. This infusion cannot be overridden. This passive is amazing as it allows you to use her as an on-field damage dealer. Her Ascension 4 passive gives a 20% attack for every character with different element except for Anemo and Dendro in the team. This can stack up to 2 times. For talent priority, level her elemental skill and normal attacks followed by her burst. Moving on to our constellations. Navia C1 restores 3 energy to Navia and reduces elemental burst cooldown by 1 second whenever a crystallized sharpness stack is consumed while using her elemental skill. She can get up to 9 energy this way and her burst CD can be reduced by 3 seconds. Navia C2 is amazing. It gives a 12% crit rate for each charge of crystallized sharpness stack consumed. You can get a maximum of 36% crit rate. Additionally, when her elemental skill hits, it shoots an extra burst hit. Only one instance of this extra hit can be shot while using her elemental skill. The main focus here is the additional 36% crit rate bonus, which lets you be more flexible with her build. Third and fourth constellation increases her elemental skill and burst levels respectively. Her fourth constellation reduces the geo resistance of enemies hit by her burst by 20% for 8 seconds. Moving on to her sixth constellation. If more than 3 charges of crystallized sharpness stacks are consumed when using her elemental skill, stacks consumed beyond 3 increases the crit damage of the elemental skill by 45%, and any charges consumed beyond the first 3 are returned back to Navia. As usual, this just makes the character broken. Her C1 is decent as it provides some energy to Navia, letting you run more offensive stats on her, but I don't think it's worth spending your Primogens for it. Her C2 gives her a huge amount of crit rate. It lets you completely ignore crit rate and focus only on crit damage and attack percent if paired with the Malachose Hunter set. Or you can use other sets like Nighttime Whispers of the Echoing Wood to get more damage. Her C4 is also decent as it provides geo resistance trait which no other character can provide except for Zhongli. And the C6, as I mentioned earlier, it's just broken. It significantly increases her damage and also refunds her stacks, which makes getting stacks for her much easier. However, all these are not needed as Navia is a complete character at C0. Using her at C0 won't make her a handicap, the constellations are just damage upgrades that you can have. If you are confused between C1, C2 or a signature weapon, I have made a comparison video on that topic and given you my opinion on the same, so do check it out after this video. Moving on to our artifact sets. Malachose Hunter if you have Furina in the team, and the Nighttime Whispers in the Echoing Wood, the new 4.3 set if you don't have Furina on the team, are her best artifact sets. Malachose Hunter can deal a bit more damage, but the Nighttime set doesn't fall far behind. Nighttime is more universal as it is not limited to Furina teams. Without Furina in the team, Nighttime Whispers becomes her best in slot set. The 2-piece of this set provides 18% attack and the 4-piece provides up to 50% geo damage bonus. If you have Navia C2, you can go with this set as there is a high chance that you might overcap her crit rate with the Malachose set. As I mentioned earlier, Malachose Hunter is a very strong set if you use her with Furina, and it is also more resin efficient as it also has the Golden Troop set in it. Vermilion Hereafter can also work in Navia Furina teams. You can strongbox this set while farming Malachose Hunter or the Nighttime set, but do not use the resin on this set for Navia. 4-piece Golden Troop is also viable as it increases elemental skill damage, although it won't be a conventional set as you would need to swap out and swap in Navia to refresh the 4-piece set effect, which will increase your rotations and make her playstyle more clunky. Alternatively, you can use combination of 2-piece sets that give geo damage bonus, attack percent, elemental skill damage or energy recharge. Her artifact stats are very straightforward: attack percent on Sands, geo damage bonus on Goblet, and crit on Circlet. You can use attack Goblet if you are using Furina and have no other attack buffer. And for substats, you would want to get crit stats, an attack percent and some energy recharge. For her energy recharge, try to get around 130% along with the geo battery. Now let's start with her weapons. Her best in slot is a signature weapon, the Verdict. It has a high base attack of 674 and gives 22.1% crit rate. It gives 20% attack. Whenever a character in your team picks up a crystallized shard, you get a seal which increases your elemental skill damage by 18%. You can have a maximum of 2 seals. However, there are many other excellent weapon options which are extremely close to this weapon, and as a result her signature weapon doesn't become a necessity unless you need it for the aesthetics. Serpent Spine at R5 is the top competitor for her signature weapon, and the damage difference is almost negligible. It has a low base attack, but since Navia is an attack scaling character, using her with Bennett can make up for the lower base attack. You can get up to 50% damage bonus as long as you don't take any damage. And you can easily get this damage bonus just by waiting for 20 seconds before starting your Spiral Abyss challenge. Even at R1 it is very similar in damage to the Red Horn Stone Thresher, which is also one of her best options. It provides a huge 88.2% crit damage. She can't make full use of the passive as you would want to build attack on her, but it is still some damage increase. Also, if you have any defense stats on your artifacts along with Red Horn Stone Thresher, it is not completely wasted. Beacon of the Reed Sea is also a great option as it provides a good amount of crit rate. Navia will often be paired with a shielder for interruption resistance, so the second half of the passive can be difficult to trigger. However, due to the sheer amount of stats it provides, it becomes a great option for her. One thing to keep in mind when using this weapon, if you are using the Mana Chosen Hunter, make sure that you don't overcap on your crit rate. If you already have a lot of crit rate from your artifacts, then going for other weapon options might be a better choice. Unforge is another strong option for Navia with a strong shielder. Without Bennett, the performance of this weapon gets better due to the huge amount of attack it provides. Similar to Unforged, the Wolf's Gravestone provides a ton of attack. Other 4-star options include the Blackcliff Slasher, Lithic Blade, Ultimate Overlord's Mega Magic Sword, Sacrificial Greatsword, Talking Stick, Tidal Shadow, Prototype Archaic, and Katsuragi Kiri Nagamasa. Ultimate Overlord's Mega Magic Sword is a free weapon that we get in the 4.3 event. It has energy recharge passive and gives 24% attack. It will give additional 24% attack based on the number of Melusines you have helped. Blackcliff's passive is useless in single target situations as you need to kill enemies to get the stacks. Nevertheless, it's still a decent stat stick. Lithic Blade is a strong 4-star option if you have at least 2 leeway characters in your team. Sacrificial Greatsword at R3 or higher is a strong option as it lets you have 3 charges of her skill per rotation. However, even at R5, this weapon has 80% chance of triggering its passive, which makes it quite inconsistent and unreliable. Talking Stick is a new BP weapon which I won't recommend you to buy for Navia, but is usable if you have already bought it. Tidal Shadow, Prototype Archaic, and Katsuragi Kiri Nagamasa are craftable options. Tidal Shadow's passive can provide up to 48% attack buff at R5 if the wielder is healed. Prototype Archaic works as a stat stick and Nagamasa helps with energy restoration. These are some decent FTP options that work on Navia. If you are enjoying this video so far, give this video a thumbs up and share it so that I can break the SEO barrier. Now moving on to the most important part of this video, Navia's team comps. Navia can be played as a DPS or you can use her as Quickswap DPS with another Geo DPS where you can swap into her and use her elemental skill. For DPS Navia, the general layout of her team consists of Navia, sub-DPS, buffer, and a flex unit that can help you survive or provide interruption to resistance. Having characters on different elements can help a lot as you would benefit from her Ascension passive. Using a Geo character can help you maximize your damage as it unlocks the Geo Resonance. So let's go over the best characters for every role one by one, starting with the sub-DPS role. First we have Furina here. Furina fits in perfectly for the sub-DPS/damage buffer role. Furina also unlocks the Mana Chosen Hunter set. However, she has a caveat of being used with a healer. But if you factor in the damage bonus you get, she brings a lot to the table. You can also build Bennett with full healer build with 4-piece Maiden's Beloved and healing bonus circlet to maximize his healing and pair it with Furina's passive to give some team-wide heals. This method can work for getting fanfest stacks even though not as consistent as with other healers like Jean. Bennett makes up for it with his huge attack buff. Also, if you have C2 Furina, Bennett is enough to easily get the fanfest stacks. With Furina, you can use a dedicated healer like Jean, Mecha or Charlotte. Charlotte can be the best fit here as she grants a stack for Navia's A4 passive, can buff her with Thrilling Tales, and also use the Noblesse or Tenacity set. However, Navia might cause stutter reactions instead of Crystallize, which becomes the main issue in this comp. Nevertheless, she is a great character for this slot. Moving on, we have Yelan. She is an amazing option to use as she provides up to 50% damage bonus without any need for healer. She does require some normal attacks to proc her ult, but Navia's Geo Infusion from her A1 passive helps her proc crystallized reactions when paired with Yelan. Similar to Yelan is Xingqiu, he basically does the same thing minus a damage bonus, and he also has less damage output when compared to Yelan. Albedo is another sub DPS you can use. He has a decent off-field damage and also provides you with a lot of Geo particles. He unlocks a Geo Resonance which is a damage boost to Navia. When we are talking about sub DPS, we of course can't forget about Fisher. She has high energy generation which helps in reducing team's energy requirements. She doesn't have any team buff in her kit, but she can use the LEG if you have it to buff your whole team. Raiden can also work as she has off-field application and can be used to restore team's energy. Rosaria can provide crit rate buff, and Lisa can reduce enemy's defense by 15%. Xiangling is another great option, especially in AoE situations, but she has a very high energy cost. For this, you can use a second pyro character, preferably Bennett, to help with her energy recharge and also buffer damage. Now for the buffer role, after coming so far into the video, I think you might have already guessed the best character for it. And yes, you are correct, it is... He can buff and heal your team, basically the best choice to use. However, due to him being such a good character, he is high in demand and might already be in use in your second team. In such case, Goro especially at C6 is a great option here as he provides geo damage bonus, but you will need to run triple geo with him. So your team will look somewhat like Navia, Goro, a geo character preferably Zhongli for shields, and a sub DPS for proccing crystallized reactions like Yelan, Fisher, Xingqiu. Ningguang can also be used in the buffer role as she provides geo damage bonus from her Ascension 4 passive and can also use the Thrilling Tales. She also unlocks the geo resonance. Zhongli provides resistance trait and can also utilize the tenacity set. He can also be included as a buffer and shielder. Furina and Yelan are also included in this role as they provide damage buff. And for the last slot, you need characters that can help you survive. For shielders, the best choice to use would obviously be Zhongli, as I mentioned earlier, due to his extremely thick shield and also the resistance trait he provides. He can also utilize the tenacity set. He's a geo character, which means you can unlock the geo resonance. Layla is another great shielder. Her cryo application helps you proc crystallized reactions and her shield is extremely strong. If you have built Leona instead of Layla, she can also be used. Although her shield is not as strong as Layla, she makes up for it with her healing. Also, her cryo application is not as good as Layla. For healers, as I mentioned earlier, Charlotte is a great option with Navia, especially when paired with Furina due to her high heals and also being a cryo unit which activates Navia's passive. She can also utilize the Thrilling Tales. She can make use of the Noblesse or Tenacity set. You can use Jean for more heals and get max stacks easily with Furina, but she doesn't provide any buff to Navia unless she uses the Noblesse set and Freedom Swan. But she can instead be used to buff your sub DPS damage with very decent set. Mika can also be used for big one-time heal, which is great with Furina, and also him being a cryo activates Navia's passive. He also provides attack speed buff, letting you weave in more normal attacks. Lastly, Deya can also work as she provides interruption resistance and mitigates some damage. She can also utilize the tenacity set. Few examples of her teams include Navia, Furina, Bennett, Zhongli, Navia, Yelan, Deya, Albedo, Navia, Zhongli, Bennett, Xiangling, Navia, Rosaria, Layla, Ningguang, Navia, Xingqiu, Goro, Zhongli. For Quickswap DPS Navia, you will need to use her with a Geo DPS, a sub DPS for proccing Crystallize and a Flex. The Geo DPS can be Noel, Itto or Ningguang. Noel, Furina, Goro and Navia could be the best team to use as Noel can let you get maximum fanfare stacks and Goro will buff both Noel and Navia and also provide energy for them. Itto can also work in place of Noel if you have C4 Goro or decide to switch out Goro for another healer like Bennett. However, with a different healer, you need to make sure you have enough energy recharge on Itto to keep his burst up time. C4 Goro might not be able to provide enough healing for C0 Furina, but this team works as Itto has high damage. There can be survivability issues in this team due to the constant HP drain from Furina and lack of shielders. Other team examples are Ningguang, Xiangling, Bennett, Navia, Itto, Raiden, Zhongli, Navia, Noel, Xingqiu, Goro, Navia. In this team, the on-field DPS will collect Crystallize to give stacks to Navia, and after getting maximum stacks, you can switch to Navia and use her elemental skill to deal damage. You should use Navia's burst before switching to your DPS so that you get the Crystallized sharpness stacks faster. I will upload her showcase videos using different teams when she gets released, so stay tuned for that. Comment down below the builds and teams that you have prepared for the Queen. Also, don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe for more Genshin Impact content. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.